What is going on, YouTube? This is LA Prepper, and we are here live and alive. I think one of my old bosses had this funny saying when people would say it's good to see you, he'd say something like it's better to be seen than to be heard, or I don't know, something funny like that, where he's like, yeah, it is good to be seen. It means I'm here. He was a funny guy. Taught me a lot about myself, about sales. Sorry, I'm just getting some stuff set up here. Yeah, so we haven't done a live stream during the day for quite a while, while my collar looks completely ridiculous, and hopefully I'm coming in at a good frame rate. I feel like there used to be somewhere I could see that, and I don't know. But yeah, we are alive and live. In fact, let me get a notebook so I can write down some notes, and we'll think about what kind of stuff we want to talk about today. All right, what is today? Thursday? Man, so I was out of, I lost my viewer. Come back. I was actually out of work for a week. I don't know if I want to talk about why. Not really, but it was some minor medical stuff that was kind of annoying that I had to take care of, so I guess we'll just leave it at that. But life is good, so let's talk about a few different. That same boss who had that funny saying once made fun of me for crumpling up paper. He said he had an old assistant that liked to crumple up paper versus just like folding it and throwing it away. And I don't know. You know, my garbage can was in the same place for a year, and it's really throwing me off. Mark, what's going on, buddy? To answer your question, wow, and it's weird. It doesn't look like you're typing, but you're not showing up as a viewer. I have not at this time. Short answer. I'm the worst at giving unnecessarily long answers. But no, I haven't. It's not super integral to my career advancement at my current employer, so that's why I haven't really done it. Would it give me a little bit of options in the field of engineering? I'm sure that it would, but my employer is more like once I get an engineering job at my company, as long as I don't screw up and like I do a halfway decent job as an engineer, presuming my department doesn't get downsized or anything kind of crazy like that, things will work out. But interestingly, my job right now, the type of work that I do operating a machine that I do, I hate looking in the camera. I don't always hate looking in the camera, but it just, I don't know. It feels weird to me sometimes. But the job that I do now is a little bit more of a niche type work than. Oh, so sorry. Those comments from Uncle Al are actually from yesterday, so he might have just jumped on, but the comment you see from 714 wasn't from today. Anyways, maybe you saw a comment that's about to pop up on my screen. I don't know. Where was I? Something about work and the PE. Niche, yeah. So the type of work that I do on the machine that I work on right now is a very specialized type of work. So it positions me well to be in like strong demand by the company, if you will. So I'm not dying to be an engineer tomorrow. Yes, the money is better, obviously. It's more challenging intellectually, which is, of course, why I got the degree, not just for the money reason, because I wanted to get more out of life than sending emails and making phone calls and doing stupid stuff that anybody can do. Like, I'm not saying, if you're in customer service, that's a dumb job. It's not. Um, Lots of different jobs take skills that not everyone has. But my calling in life is something slightly more advanced than sending emails. A little bit. Just tiny little bit. Billy Bird. What's up, Billy Bird? So we'll talk a little bit about work today. Let's talk a little bit about money/investing. And in fact, maybe I'll segue that into the house, talk about the house project, talk about some stock stuff just for a little bit. Let's see. I don't know. World events. There's always something crazy going on in the world. New Zealand just had an earthquake. My father was actually born in New Zealand, so I'm always interested in New Zealand news. It's kind of cold in my house. It's not that cold. It's nice outside. It's like 68 outside or something, but it's like 65 in my house, and I would need to run like 2 fans and open up all my windows for. Where did I put that? The amount of electricity and energy. I'm such a cheapskate that the small amount of electricity that it would cost or energy to turn on fans and open my windows, because right now my house is like 5 degrees colder than outside, 3 to 5 degrees colder. Um, I'm. How many people could spend 5 minutes answering a simple question? It's a little cold in my house, and this shirt was a gift from my mother at Christmas a couple years ago, so um, I wear it. It has sentimental value to me. It might seem silly, like it's just a shirt, like she just bought it at Costco or whatever. But family is precious, right? So your kids. I used to kind of like think slightly differently about kids. Like you'd see them draw something in class, and parents would put up on the fridge, and you're like, wow, that your kid has no artistic talent. But that's not really the point. The point is the kid made it for the parent. The kids do cute stuff like that in school where they make a macaroni person or whatever, and the parents put on the fridge, and yeah, that's your macaroni person. So it's like, and what's actually really funny about this shirt is that there's another guy who I work with who works on a similar type of machine that I do, kind of across the aisle, like 20 feet from me. He wears blue flannel shirts every day, and he's like 65 years old. So I always feel like an old guy when I'm at work wearing this shirt because he's always wearing, and he only has blue shirts. And my mom got me 2 blue shirts, so it's like everyone's always saying funny stuff about, um, oh, you guys are twins, and I'm like, yeah, it's Lucky EB Welding shirt. It's like I don't care. One of my coworkers was joking at me because I tucked my shirt in the other day. I was trying to reduce FOD, or foreign object debris. So I kind of, when I'm working around parts that are more FOD sensitive, I sort of try to blow some FOD off myself. And I tuck my shirt in so that my shirt's not rubbing on stuff that should be clean. There's better ways to do that, like FOD jacket or FOD smocks, which I will probably be getting at some point in the future. If you just joined the stream, leave a comment so I know who's here. Yeah, so the New Zealand passport thing, Mark, I think that ended. I think I was actually a dual citizen up to 18, but I don't think New Zealand does dual citizenship, so you have to kind of choose. An American passport's not the best passport in the world necessarily, but I'm personally perfectly happy with an American passport. If I had to choose another country to have a passport from, I don't know. It's kind of a tough one. I don't know. I don't know much about that stuff. I I don't even know how to take that. Billy Bird. I don't know what kind of slang you're referring to, but you want to Billy Bird. You need to elaborate on that slang. So let's talk about work real quick. Um, I have a job. It's good, making money. Actually, just got update on my raise, which is going to get backdated to the first of the year, the second of the year, first week of the year, anyways. That's cool. Plus, I work about 10 hours a week overtime. And let me just talk a little bit about. Do you know where I work, Mark? I gotta, I gotta. Now, even asking that question is too much of a clue. Too much of a clue. But let me just talk about the importance of work from a prepper perspective, and how important should your full-time job be? Because of course, um, let's just say this, Mark. If you want to know what's going on with my company, just read the news. Our company's in the news, not every day, but often enough that I'll just say read read news. And actually, I'm going to talk about some news today. So maybe we'll even see my company in the news. Just read the news and you'll figure out what my company's doing. But a lot of people are moving to Texas, and I'll talk maybe about this California exodus, um, because it is a thing. It is a serious thing, and it's something that, when you have a state as gorgeous as California, this state is so beautiful. It really is. My parents were here a couple weekends ago, or yeah, a couple weekends ago, and I took them up on this little hike at Ascot Hills Park, which is a gorgeous little hike. It's like a 15-minute hike up into the hills, up onto this little hilltop actually, and you can see 360 degrees because you're on top of a hill, and it's a really What's up, Corsair? Welcome to the stream. Mark, to answer your question real quick, there are positions at my company where you have to have that, but most of the positions at my company, it's not required. Mm. I have talked about. Thank you for your service, Corsair. I have talked about ITAR before. So there's only a certain types of companies that are affected by ITAR. So if you care enough to know about what type of industry that I'm in, go Google ITAR, and if not, whatever. Now, would a security speaking of work and speaking of the key to make money in this world, in my opinion, it's all about supply and demand, right? Let's draw the supply and demand curve. I think demand's on the bottom and supply's on the top, or something like that. Or is it the other? I screwed this up the other day, and I really got to figure it right. That makes more sense. Okay, so I haven't taken economics in a while. Bear with me, but it's important. It's extremely important to have a grasp. In fact, I swear to God, if the only two things you knew about economics were supply and demand and capitalism, you could understand the majority of what goes on in the world. Obviously, the markets are really complicated with derivatives and fiat currency and collusion and 100 other things that affect what's going on in the market. But and since we have access to computer screens and such, let's see if I can do this right. How the heck do I do this? I can't even remember. Share. Here we go. Share, screen, Opera tab. All right, so let's. Perfect. Now, why are we talking about supply and demand? You can see demand here on the left coming down to the right, and that's price on the y-axis, and I think like number of units, yeah, quantity on the x-axis. So the x-axis is the independent variable and the y-axis is the dependent variable. So the quantity sets what the price is based on where these two lines cross, which is called the equilibrium point. Nothing about my YouTube. You shouldn't learn anything from my YouTube channel. I promise you. I know how to do a proper YouTube channel, and I just don't put the energy into it. I know how to set up green screens. I know how to buy lighting. I know how to. I could buy a $90. In fact, I was this close to buying like a $90 gyroscope. Sorry, gimbal stabilized selfie stick so that I could take epic snowboarding videos. The only problem is I'm not an epic snowboarder, so they'd be really good videos of my lame ass snowboarding, which I was like, I don't know if that's really worth it. But hey, Home Depot, Mark, maybe someday you'll tell me about what kind of projects you're working on. So, supply and demand. Why I'm okay with not being an engineer at the moment is because the supply of people in my position is low. And what happens when supply is low is that supply curve shifts to the left, as you can see in, let's see here. Here we go. Supply shifts to the left and the price goes up. Exactly. So S1 is the supply of engineers, let's say, for example, at the company I work for. S2 is the supply of people like me. Now, actually, the supply of people that do what I do is like, I don't know, how many engineers does my company have? Like, probably 1,000, and maybe there's like 10, maybe 12. Let's say 1,200 engineers, and there's 12 of us. So there's 100 times more engineers than there are people in my position, my specific position. But the point is, there's a lot more engineers than there are people in my position, and you can see here this price equilibrium point of $190 versus $110. Now, ironically, the type of work that I do, so even though I'm in a greater demand than engineers, the company is sort of only willing to pay me about a sort of a low salary for a starting engineer currently, and I've been at my job for a couple years. So it's not, it's not a bad wage for someone who, and I don't need a degree for the work that I do right now. I was kind of chosen for the work that I do now, partly based on my degree and partly based on the fact that maybe I'm not a dumbass. Um, Long story short, I'm okay with not being an engineer right now because my job is in high demand and that increases my job security. But let me just talk briefly about how important should work be to you as a prepper. A lot of people talk about, oh, when the banks fail and the economy fails. And let's pull up a more fun picture here. Oh, this is, it's funny. Like, apparently, stress is pinching the top of your nose, having your hands in your face, putting your hands on your desk. Like, here we go. Head on desk, head on desk, head on desk. Oh, how sad is this? She's got her little girl. The mom is all stressed out, and the kid's all like, oh, it's okay, mommy. That's so sad. You know, adult things like that are kind of hard to explain to kids sometimes. Like, "Mommy, why are you sad?" Like, "Oh, mommy's just stressed." Well, what's stressed? Like, what does a 5-year-old have to stress over? Running out of Cheerios, you gotta leave the park, your best friend has to go home to their house. Like, that's the thing that kids stress about. Wouldn't it be nice if the most stressful part of your day was saying goodbye to your friend who you saw every day? Wouldn't that be nice? I miss those times in life. And that's why I work so hard, is so that hopefully 10, 15 years from now, I can spend the rest of my life enjoying it more with people. And, a weekend isn't a long amount of time, but if you have money, you can fly anywhere in the country in a weekend. Take a flight at night, get there late at night, either stay at a hotel, or if your friends or family are cool with you, getting there at like 2 a.m. or midnight or whatever, have them pick you up from the airport, have a couple drinks, go to bed, spend Saturday, Sunday together, fly back, get home at 2 a.m., wake up at 10. That's a great weekend. You can see if you live anywhere in America, excluding even Alaska and Hawaii, they're kind of screw up your weekend a little bit more. But the point is, you can enjoy life if you have a little bit of money to work around. So I think work is obviously important, not just from the making money sense, but you can't put all of your eggs into the world is going to end basket. It's foolhardy. You can't invest all of your energy anywhere. So I'm not spending 100% of my time learning how to build a fire, learning how to use firearms, learning what indigenous plants are. Should I spend some amount of my time on security, on edibles, on gardening? Of course I should. But in the short run, I really need money to buy preps much more than I need to grow tomatoes. And an hour at work on a Saturday is a lot more tomatoes than an hour of work in the garden. Just kind of how it is. So, as much, and I seem to be losing people with this rambling, unfortunately, but I guess that's just life. People are busy. It's 1 o'clock. Everyone should be out doing errands. So, as far as work, no, it's not the most important thing in the world, and it shouldn't be the most important thing in your life, but so much about preparing for the future is securing your your human needs. You need shelter, you need medicine, you need healthcare, you need, all this different stuff. It all costs money. Not everything costs money. I mean, you could sleep in your car on the side of the street. It doesn't cost any money, but life tends to cost money at some point. Until you own your homestead free and clear and you have all your chickens and your whole garden and solar installed and I'm off grid and I don't use the internet and I don't have a cell phone, until you're completely disconnected from society or needing to rely on society, you need to have money or make money or somehow inherit money or win money or resources. If you could if you could barter your handyman skills or your whatever skills for all the food and shelter and healthcare that you could ever want, great. Maybe you don't need a job. But I don't think you can pay hospital bills with Bitcoin yet. So even if you're a profitable day trader, at some point you need to get back into the dollar. Money investing wise, well, I have some money in the market. Market's doing like hell, so that's not really awesome, but just kind of happens. Thanks for stopping by, Corsair. Appreciate it. Have fun on the rest of your day. Go make that money. Yeah, exactly. Like you said, I feel like some amount of preppers, I don't know what percentage it is, but some amount of preppers are just like prepping for everything to end. Like, don't invest all your money into buying 1,000 gallons of gasoline. Yes, you will have 1,000 gallons of gasoline. What are you going to do with 1,000 gallons of gasoline? You going to try to cycle 1,000 gallons of gasoline through your car? I mean, it's just like, yes, that gasoline, maybe you could sell a gallon of gasoline for like 20 cans of food, 2 months after the power's out, but I don't know. There's no point in trying to get too hyper specialized as far as prepping concerned. My main goal as far as prepping, maybe we'll get a prepping picture here, is really just to prepping, increase my overall readiness for all myriad of events. And that includes, the power going out, society collapsing, losing my job, losing a leg. I currently cannot really do my job. Oh no, why is this not working? Oh, we got to do this. Sorry, wrong tab. Yeah, so currently my job would be a little bit difficult to do if I lost a leg, and it's something that I keep in mind when I'm riding my motorcycle, which I was very close to going for a ride for today. I really kind of wanted to go for a ride, but there's just not a lot of time before work. I'm going to go for a ride this weekend, though. I've been putting it off for, what is this? Survivaldispatch.com. We'll give them a quick shout out. Their website is doing annoying scrolling things to me right now. I don't even know where I would put food like that in my house. I should figure out somewhere to put it, but I don't currently. I love those little can roller things. I will admit they're not. I don't think they're as space efficient as not doing that. I think over on the left there, it's actually a little more space efficient to just stack cans vertically. But the rolling thing is cute, so whatever. All right, that's enough talk about money. I hate talking about money. I just want to have it and not have to work for it and just have all my money do shit in the background. Working on that someday. House stuff. Ah. House stuff is going kind of slow and crappy, unfortunately. Still chugging on the bathroom. I just finished raising the height of the doorway. I need to do some plaster, take out some sheetrock, change some flooring, fix the stove, deal with some outlet covers, all sorts of fun crap that's stuff that I have to do. Haven't really done a lot of videos on it, but maybe I will at some point in the future. Stock stuff, I already talked about that a little bit. California Exodus. That is a thing. Do I want to leave California? I do kind of. What is my... Okay, I just had to make sure which tab I'm on here. I got too many tabs open. California is becoming more gentrified by the minute. It's a bummer. The state is so gorgeous and it has so much potential to be nice, but the people in charge and the people that keep voting the people in charge are just making such horrendous decisions on a regular basis that it's like no wonder, right? I'm like the bear. I'm crying. See, that's a stressed California bear. So I'm kind of slowly working on plans to leave the state. I haven't finalized anything at the moment, but it is something I think about. All right, let's take a quick look at the world news. There was a tsunami in New Zealand, but just kind of let's jump around real quick. Let's go ahead and... Let's see if we can share a different screen. Opera tab. There we go. All right, so what's going on Drudge right now? We gave a monkey the vaccine. That's great. I know it's a gorilla. Don't care. I guess there's this big thing where Oprah's talking trash about the royals. That's super nice. Drudge is really kind of a garbage website these days. Nothing exciting there. Let's try Breitbart. Liberty on decline, authoritarianism. Yep. China's trying to track people with facial emotion recognition. Sure. WHO doesn't want to say anything bad about China. Not surprising. Deterioration of democracy. Well, it's their country. They want to deteriorate their democracy. That's kind of their business. Yeah, so guns and walls are bad, right? Except when you're the president. Oh, then give me all the guns and walls, and I need 20,000 people protecting me. Relief bill, Dr. Seuss, some spaceship stuff. This really interesting ad about how they make sardines by hand, which is lovely. Ironically, this kind of makes me want to eat sardines, and I don't really like sardines, but lovely. Thank you, Claudio, for making my sardines. Unaccompanied migrants in cages. Lovely. Cuomo is a creep. Republicans are the party of ethnic cleansing. See, do you want a person like running our government who says stupid shit like that? I mean, that's just I don't even know like how it's that kind of crap that screws with people's heads and gets liberals to think all sort of nonsense. Yeah, like there's a picture of abortion right below that. Like the left is accusing the right of ethnic cleansing while actually supporting killing hundreds of thousands of babies every year. It's just absolute insanity. Which, incidentally, a lot of those babies are minorities. So the left is a master of projection. So they believe in keeping minorities down through abortion, and yet they accuse the right of ethnic cleansing. Really, really deeply crazy stuff. All right, let's check out two more websites, rt.com and infowars.com. Tsunami New Zealand, National Guard troops, cancel culture, something about Biden's failed nomination, people getting fat. Russians are going to Venus. I think that's very interesting. Venus has a lot of industrial opportunities if you can figure out how to deal with the fact that it's super hot on that planet. But once you figure that out, you could definitely mine it or something. I think it's closer than Mars. I don't think this lady is the second greatest boxer of all time, although I'm sure she's a very good boxer. Stars are fighting, don't care about that. Is The Israelis are bombing Syria. Well, we kind of bombed them too. I don't think we should be fucking with Syria, but nobody listens to me on national policy. Don't care what Michael Moore says. Why are we in Iraq? I don't know. Billionaires going to go around the moon. Nothing too exciting. Let's go back to InfoWars, and then we will jump out of here on this quick little live stream. Opera tab, InfoWars. Dr. Seuss is offensive, I know. He's terrible. Family kicked off their land for living in an RV. Wow, that's amazing. Not surprising, but kind of amazing. Masks coming off in Texas. Political cartoons about boots in people's faces. Yeah, nothing too exciting on the news. So I think we're going to jump off. What's up, Jay? Sorry, you caught me a little bit late. I've been on for about 30 minutes, and I've kind of updated most of the stuff going on in my life. Not doing super great on the house. Work's going all right. I feel all right. I need to be a little more aggressive on projects and stuff. Man, I kind of feel like a nap right now, but it's just I don't know if I have enough time to take a nap before work. Oh, Uncle Al, I'm about to jump off, buddy. I'm sorry. I've already been going at it for 36 minutes, and I got to be up for 10 hours at work. So I don't, I don't think. I'm sure like Texas could go through a legitimate political process and try to secede. I or secede. I don't think they're going to succeed at seceding. Ugh, that's a tongue twister. I don't think they have enough votes. I think the left would try to convince all the immigrants that, they're going to stop getting their welfare if Texas secedes, and every single person who has a Mexican flag on their house in Texas is going to vote um, not to secede. So whether or not I think it'd be beneficial for Texas, that's a very, very interesting question. Like a lot of the aerospace, like, you know, stuff and technology that's going on in Texas is in part, and like oil, for example, is because of the relationships that America has. So if Texas was another country, America could put sanctions on Texas if we start undercutting competition on like oil production, or if we start buying oil to refine at cheaper prices or more expensive prices or whatever. That would be really interesting. So part of any state's benefit is from the fact that they're a member of the larger country, right? And part of a state's benefit is what the state actually does itself. So Texas makes a lot of oil. Texas is currently part of America. Do I think America would ever let Texas go? No. Do I think America would let any state go? Not on your life. Not on your life. It's never going to happen. Could it potentially legally happen? I guess in theory, but I don't think it's ever going to happen. All right, well, I'm going to jump off. I need to get I need to rest a little bit before work. Um, maybe I'm not like purely economically speaking, could Texas as a country support itself and all its citizens? Yeah, without a doubt. There's no question. Politically, would America ever let Texas go? No, I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell, personally, because of how valuable Texas is. People like to talk shit about California, but when you look at the taxes, when you look at the GDP that California produces, when you look at the raw materials, the product, service sales, tech stuff, food, the fact that we're a big Western ports in San Francisco, Oakland, not so much San Francisco, but Oakland, and Los Angeles, San Diego. You don't want to let an asset like that go. That's like selling Park Place when you play Monopoly, or maybe if not one of the blue or green properties, maybe one of the purple or orange ones. But California is like the eighth largest economy in the world, so I feel like we probably should be. Maybe New York would be Park Place because I think that's what Monopoly. All the places are named after New York, but California would be the greens. New York would be like two blues, and California would be all the greens. Anyways, till next time, thanks for coming by. Like, comment, subscribe, and keep prepping.